When the previous bridge was taken out by ice, Polk County wanted to reestablish this connection very quickly, but they wanted to take the opportunity to provide an elevated experience for trail users. They also wanted to incorporate an aesthetic theme, something that respected the history of the original crossing and also incorporate some of the modern features like the City of Johnston logo and the decorative lighting. The structure itself was a vast improvement over what was there. It was designed to accommodate the potential flood flows. It improved safety for users, but it also reestablished the connection that was missing for several years between Johnston and Des Moines. And I think that most people just loved having that connection reestablished. The community response has been overwhelmingly positive. There was hundreds of people in attendance at the ribbon cutting, and people were lining up to cross the bridge on the day it opened.
On paper, it's actually a pretty simple thing, a street and, a couple of buildings, but the concept behind it is that there are no other corporate housing complexes in the whole metro area, not just Council Bluffs, but all of the Omaha metro area. And I think everybody is very excited that the first one of this kind is in Council Bluffs. The location of it within Council Bluffs is very close to the interstate access. They wanted all their permits so that they could break ground and start building foundations last fall. And so we were able to get all that done for them in their time frame that they were looking for. And so they really loved that and mention it all the time, that they're so happy things turned around as soon as they came to us.
Our project role on this was to secure all the permitting, help with the engineering for the renovation of the golf course to bring it up to PGA standards. Some of the major challenges on this project was stormwater management, floodplain mitigation, and wetland mitigation. So we worked with the PGA Tour design team and Heartland Ecological Group to help with survey, permitting, and design to get all the approvals through the county, state, and U.S. Army Corps. It was not to be frank, a dying golf course that needed a major renovation. So now that this renovation they're a TPC licensed facility that can host PGA sanctioned events. It brings in a lot of money to the community. The immense challenges that we face and the hurdles that we had to face through Wisconsin DNR. We filled in over 3 acres of wetland, which is, I believe, one of the larger permits they granted in the past 5 to 8 years. So going through that hurdle and knowing that we were also restoring a bunch of wetlands and making the local ecological and hydraulic area much better than what it was before the project started.
Capitol Lake is obviously an iconic feature, not only for Pierre, but state of South Dakota visitors that are visiting the Capitol, obviously legislatures that are there. The Capitol Lake area is rich in history and heritage with memorials near the lake and walking trails. We were able to team with Morris, incorporated out of Pierre, and we provided design solutions to assist in the removal of sediment from the Capitol Lake that has occurred over a long period of time, and just help them with some of the design solutions and construction methods to approach the project during the winter months. Didn't want any water to discharge from the lake during the dredging project due to downstream tributaries. So we did that by lowering the profile of the Capitol Lake by a series of pumps, screens, and silt curtains to allow the contractor to effectively work during the winter months where traditionally they would not be able to do that, which was a big part of the overall success in meeting the schedule.
I was a project manager and project planner for a neighborhood revitalization plan for the city of Sidney, Iowa. One of the biggest challenges for this project was when we entered the conversation, it became apparent there was some pretty strong feelings what should be done there. We kind of had 2 factions within the city. One was very passionate about having this neighborhood park there, and then another group of town felt really strongly that it was intended for the fire station to have it be rebuilt at that site sometime in the future. Not only did we focus on the park, but we focused on those street connections, and we were able to prioritize sidewalks and crossings and kind of corner nodes where people could cross that would get them to the courthouse, that would get them to the high school football field and to businesses, and those main points of interest that people are getting to on a daily basis already, just making that feel easier and safer for them. The goal of the plan is not only to construct this park, but to also to create a neighborhood that's livable and desirable and people want to stay in the city of Sidney. The council was very integral in helping facilitate these conversations with the fire department side. And we were able to include 3 layouts for the park and the fire station that everybody ended up being happy with in the end. And all 3 plans include the park elements that were desired, such as pickleball, basketball, parking, play area, and some open space to enjoy, and then room for expansion for the fire department. We were able to still incorporate everything everybody wanted.
Snyder Associates was the lead designer for the project that included reconstruction of approximately 2 miles of Interstate 80, reconstruction of the interchange, reconstruction of the interstate bridges over Highway 146 and the UP Railroad, and it also included some operational improvements to Highway 146 as well. While it's only 2 miles long, it was designed and set up to accommodate the eventual 6-lane section of I-80 that will cross the entire state, so making this project part of the overall network. Maintaining traffic on a heavily traveled interstate corridor presented several staging and traffic control challenges, especially related to the entrance and exit ramps. Our team solved these challenges by creating a detailed staging plan with specific timeframes for the ramp closures, and that coupled with also specific detour plans for those closures. Also, maintaining drainage during the stage construction was a big challenge. Several pipe culverts were installed in the initial stage in preparation for future stages, and this also included several temporary facilities to ensure that stormwater was properly conveyed during the construction. However, I think what makes the project most special to me is that many of our younger staff that were involved in design, I saw so much growth and development in them over the nearly 4-year design process. The level of effort and dedication they showed and the amount of growth in their careers really makes me proud to be part of that project.
This site was a very unique site. We had the opportunity to work with the DOT state archaeologist. Back in the 70s and 80s, they did some archaeological work as part of the development of the Interstate 29 road system, and they discovered in our area a number of indigenous settlements from around 900 AD. And so as part of our rest area projects, we typically look for an opportunity to incorporate theming into the sites. We had to keep a lot of the utilities active during construction, so we had to do a lot of temporary utility connections, those type of things. And then kind of the final challenge was this is in the Missouri River Basin, so the soils in the area are very poor, very sandy. So we had to do a lot of soil corrections on the site, and then we also had to add irrigation in as well. As the site dries out and so forth, we needed to make sure some of the improvements, specifically with some turf and landscaping, could be maintained moving forward. Overall, the final product was very successful. The DOT is very happy with the final results, and you'll see that the end product that we ended up incorporating some Native American art from some of the artists that had family ties, ancestral ties to the site into the building, and then also some of the archaeological information that they found we incorporated into the site to help educate the traveling public.
Snyder & Associates, we pride ourselves on being a full-service engineering firm, and this project really required many different disciplines within civil engineering. We had to design the new roadway, we had to design new utilities, we had to do a lot of utility coordination, we helped with grant applications and funding for the project. Traffic control and staging was an extremely important part of the project. In 2008, this area experienced major flooding, so there's been a lot of work and investment going on to protect these areas more and more and to allow the city to continue to grow and for those new businesses to open, and just a lot of exciting things to be happening for the community.